typical, Adam.
Yeah.
Here am I.
Here am I.
Here am I.
It's
Blame
my
me.
fault.
Yeah, blame
I'm
me.
the reason why we're late today.
Lock me up.
Yeah.
Throw away the key.
Guys,
Welcome.
as usual, Adam is late, but great to be with you guys on the podcast. Some weird things happened yesterday. Yesterday, I was at an offsite from 7:30 in the morning, not at the Ritz, but at the Four Seasons, from 7:30 in the morning till 7 at night. And then afterwards, we had the sickest one-year anniversary at the Boardroom Cigar Lounge. If you were there, it was amazing. Michele, the girls, the team, everybody that runs the shop did such a phenomenal job. We had a great time being with those guys. And then all day I'm getting texted. Did you know Tucker Carlson called you out? He said, you said bad things about Catholics. How dare you slander Catholics, is what he said. So maybe we'll show the clip, but I'm going to react to that separately because I don't want to be a lot of noise when I react to it. I will properly react to Tucker's call out and address it. And then apparently there was a Turning Point USA event that took place. With the Turning Point USA event, if I'm not mistaken, Erica Kirk couldn't show up because there was a threat, but JD did show up, but not a lot of people showed up. Is that kind of, am I saying it correctly or no? Something like that. And so Vinny's got some thoughts on it. So do I. We'll talk about that. And then California voters, Tom just revealed it right now. There's two things that California voters are voting for their governor. And Tom's going to reveal what those two things are. And he's got the stats behind it. You know how Tom rolls. He doesn't fool around. Tom's a serious guy, okay? And he's going to share with you guys what's going on over there. And then there's the ceasefire between Lebanon and Israel. They're even agreeing to meet together at, I don't know, Islamabad. I don't know where they're willing to meet to have the negotiation. And Trump said if the deal gets done, he's willing to go to get the ceasefire done, not the ceasefire, the negotiation done. This, by the way, this blockade is working so effectively. They're saying it's more powerful than what they're doing with their weapons because there was apparently a Chinese a vessel from China, Tom, if I'm not mistaken, that's coming through. And you actually have to see how the military tells them to other ships. I don't know if this was a specific one. Hey, I'll try to paraphrase it in a little bit more diplomatic way, but this is what they said. Turn your ass around and go the other way or we're going to blow your ass up. That's kind of like how they said military language. They're younger. They talk like that. But it was a lot more diplomatic on the way they did it. Can you imagine? These are 19, 20-year-old kids, young men that are protecting the world, handling these ships, 19, 20 years old, Vinny, they're out there doing the work. Unbelievable. God bless them. Absolutely. Thank you for your service. We have the freedom to do what we're doing because of these young men that are serving out there. So that's that part. And then what else we have with some, there's a video that's just such a disturbing video. I don't even want to play it, but we have to play it with this, a gay couple who are apparently in Hollywood. They're the award-winning type of couple. And they're holding this boy that I think they just adopted. And the boy's asking for mom. And he starts crying. It's a very, very difficult video to watch, but we'll watch it. I've always had a problem with this. I've talked about it openly. It's cost me some relationships that I just think when it comes down to adopting kids, you have to adopt into certain families. You got to be a little bit more careful. It wasn't too long ago that we were not okay with what we're doing today, but it is what it is. I've literally had issues with this, and I've openly talked about it, and some people don't like my position on it, but it is what it is. You can call me old school, whatever you want to call me. I'm not changing that position for myself. Aside from that, a few other things that's going on that we got to get into with Iran using Chinese satellite to target U.S. bases before attack that took out Air Force planes. And Trump found out about this. Like, hey, what are we doing here? What is this all about? There's some, Dan and I were speaking this morning. He says, look, some of this may be because, the debt and we're going to go do this with the dollar. There's so many ways if this ends up coming out good for him, it'll be another one of those things for him to add to his resume that everybody lost their minds and then he ended up winning. If he ends up winning, if he ends up coming out of it. There was a question one of the reporters asked, Rob, I don't know if you have this clip or not, if you want to find it, because I'm going to go to it. When the reporter says, Mr. President, did you hear about Iran is about to kill 4, with 1 being the first woman? And Trump looks at her and says, have you told the Pope that? Go tell the Pope. Go tell the Pope. And it was interesting to say that to the Pope. And then J.D. Vance at the TPUSA event said a few things about the Pope. Franklin Graham said some things about defending Trump's position with the picture, hey, all that other stuff, even though the president ended up taking that picture down. I mean, I don't know if you heard or not. That picture was taken down. The president is not one that takes things down, but he was able to take it down. He did end up taking it down. Then there's something else going on called the Stop Nick Shirley Act. Can you imagine? They don't want people to be exposed in California. And so they're coming out with this thing called the Stop Nick Shirley Act, which, it is what it is. We applaud Nick for what he's doing. He's doing a great job out there. We hope he continues. And he keeps getting funded by others that are supporting what he's doing as a young man, putting himself on the line. It's not the safest thing he's doing, but that's where courage comes with it. So, and last but not least, this one story, which is good news. More young men say religion is very important to them. And this is not a New York Post story. Vinny, this is a New York Times story.
Really?
Okay, yes. Young men turning to religion, very important to them. Last night at the Cigar Lounge, I don't know if you know Victor Belfort. Victor Belfort was... Victor Belfort was one of the greatest fighters of all time.
Mm-hmm.
We watched him for many, many years. He is a crazy, crazy guy when it comes down to fighting. He's there, we're talking together, and he says, you know why I love, what you guys do in the brand and all? I said, why? He says, because it's important for you to be a great father, right? And we talked about young men, faith. He's got 3 kids. All of them know how to fight. The oldest is a boy. He's got 2 young girls, I believe. Just a very good conversation with the guy. You're seeing more and more young men turning to God, realizing they cannot do this anymore. And a lot of the divisiveness, the games are like, look, man, I need someone's help. I need God's help to be on my side. So with that being said, before we get started, we have something very, very special to introduce to you here today from Vinny. So Vinny, share with us what good news you have.
Well, Pat, that story leads into exactly what's going on with the brand new hat. I've been so excited. We finally have it. So many of you guys have been asking for this, the black on white, faith over fear hat with the cross on the right, our shield, and then Hebrews 11:1 on the back. And I tell people this all the time, Pat, this isn't just a hat. It's letting people know exactly where you stand. Faith in Jesus Christ and no fear. That's the mindset and that's the life. And as you just said, there's a Gallup poll, Pat. There's a shift happening right now. The Gallup poll showed 42% of men ages 18 to 29 say religion is very important in their lives. That's up 28%. Okay? That's a huge jump, and people are leaning into faith. And if you want to represent that, guys, go to vtmerch.com. The supply is really limited. These things are going to go fast, guys. I walked into the studio today, and already 4 people did. Everybody's like, yo, when am I getting my hat? So this is it, guys. Faith over fear. Faith, you have nothing. If you have faith in Christ, you have no fear about job, life, death, anything. And this is it. The hat's out. It's on the website. Go to vtmerch.com and place your order. I guarantee you, these are going to go fast.
No, they look
they're ridiculous.
This is the only thing Humberto wears.
Humberto's been wearing it, but he had it before I had it.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happens.
He took it from me. He took it from me. So I'm going to wear this hat today because I think it's good to have faith over fear. So go to vtmerch.com, place your order, represent it, go to work, confuse people a little bit. It's and not only confuse, create a story. Tell your testimony after that, but it's a great way to start a conversation. All right, let's get right into it. So you ready for the most important data? Tom, can you tell us the most important stat of today? That was $119 just a few days ago barrel. How much are oil prices right now?
The market's going to open in 6 minutes. Crude oil is at 83.
What does that mean, the fact that it dropped down to 83?
That there is confidence and stability in the oil markets. And remember, this adventure started at 65 to 67. That was the nominal price of oil back in late January through Valentine's Day, before the fun started. And so now we're sitting on $83, $84, which means the oil market is calming down. This is a very good thing, and the overall markets are up. The S&P is at 7140, which in pre-market, which is an all-time high.
All-time highs.
S&P.
S&P
500.
So, but aren't people trying to celebrate for the economy to do bad and, for it to be a, bad look for the president? Isn't it supposed to be like a massive drop-off, Tom?
So, people like MSNBC and our good friend on MSNBC are really having a tough time this morning.
Yeah.
Because once upon a time, they had that tingling feeling in their leg, and they were so happy about Obama. And now people like Chris Matthews he said it, not me. He said it. And now they're sitting there with their coffee, absolutely devastated, because the American economy looks like it's
By the
shifting.
way, do you know...
And it looks like gas might be more affordable for people, so there's no one to yell at this summer. What will they do?
Chris Matthews hasn't been at MSNBC for a while. It's the other...
In a long time.
Very long time. That tells you how much...
I'm glad you corrected
MSNBC.
Me and Tom are in peace negotiations right now. I didn't want to correct you, Tom.
Let's go into
but
that
you are
topic.
right. 90%.
Wherever he is, he no longer is getting a tingling feeling in his leg.
So let's go into this topic that we have. So, Rob, Lebanon-Israel ceasefire. What is the latest with this? Because the 10-day ceasefire in Lebanon begins as Israel agrees to a U.S.-backed deal. President Trump announced the agreement, which went into force Thursday evening as Pakistani mediators work to extend U.S.-Iran ceasefire and arrange new talks. If you want to go a little bit lower, Rob, in Beirut, a tentative 10-day was set up. The ceasefire was announced on Thursday by the president and confirmed by Bibi. In a later video, Netanyahu said that Israel had an opportunity to forge a historic peace agreement with Lebanon, but that Israeli forces would remain inside Lebanese territory in a reinforced security buffer zone. The agreement was not negotiated by Hezbollah, the group that Israel had been targeting, and which, Rob, if you can pull it up a little bit, and which gave ambiguous statements about whether they would recognize that a ceasefire must include a comprehensive halt to attacks across all Lebanese area with no freedom of movement for Israeli forces and a return to the situation prior to March 2nd, when the current round of conflict began between Israel and Hezbollah began, the group said in a statement. So while you're hearing this, the Israeli military said there were at least 40 strikes from Lebanon after Trump announced the pause, and Lebanese state media reported heavy airstrikes in regional areas. So both of them were going back and forth. How big of a deal is this, Adam?
This could be huge because, listen, most people, most countries want two things: peace and prosperity. I think the U.S. wants that. I think Israel wants that. I think the UAE wants this. I think Saudi wants this. I think Lebanon wants this. Then you need to ask yourself, do these U.S. designated terrorist groups want this? Do you think ISIS wants peace and prosperity? Does ISIS wake up every day, let's be peaceful, guys, when they're having their cereal and coffee? Does Al-Qaeda think that? Does Hezbollah think that? Does Hamas think that? That's not the way they think. So right now, what's different this time around is one thing. There's a weak and almost on the brink of disaster Iran. Now, we talked about this last podcast that I think Lebanon is Iran first because Iran, the IRGC, is basically controlling Lebanon. Now, this peace talk right now between Netanyahu and the Israeli government, he's speaking for the first time, high-level peace talks. They've been at war for 78 years, since the infancy of the country of Israel, since 1948. So now you have the president, Joseph Aoun, hope I got his name right. They're having the first high-level talks in decades, basically. And you know who's not there anywhere near the talks right now? Hezbollah. So they're basically saying, we want peace. Me and you want peace. You're Lebanon, I'm Israel. Let's make peace. This guy's messing everything up. So what do we want to do? Should we handle this? Or do we bring this guy in? Because this guy doesn't want peace. And the people of Lebanon, they're just very similar to what's going on in Iran. If I can just paint a very clear picture, the people of Lebanon are very similar to the people of Iran. 80% of Lebanon wants peace, prosperity, and they want Hezbollah out of there. Just like 80% of Iran, which we've talked about, wants the Ayatollah and the IRGC out there.
Got it.
The question is this: can they actually negotiate peace, or is Hezbollah going to get in the way, and is there going to be deeper conflict?
Tom, thoughts?
So right now, it's been very interesting how Israel's kind of doing its own thing. When they said the ceasefire, the first thing Israel said, and people that were there said, "No, that doesn't include us in Lebanon. What's going on with us in Lebanon is separate." But now a ceasefire in Lebanon, you know, I pray that there's a ceasefire there, because the Lebanese Christians and the people that are in the rural areas there, it's horrible. It's like in the morning the rockets go south, and then in the evening the rockets go north, and they're stuck in the middle of it. And I know that there's the bad people that are there, Hezbollah and everything. But I want to see the ceasefire, and I want to see it wrapped up. And I'm really sad.
Rob, what clips do we have on this, Rob? Do we have any clips on this or no?
Not right now. I do have Netanyahu, but it's not in English. I'm translating it now.
Go for it.
I think I lowered my mic.
It's in Hebrew. You need some help? What do you need?
No, I personally think, Pat, well, America, I don't know how the rest of the world operates. We don't negotiate with terrorists, correct? So how can you, I think a ceasefire is unrealistic, because remember, we were sold war on terror, war on terror, war on terror. It's an unrealistic win. You could never win when you're going against terrorists. And any nation could always say, there's terrorists there, there's terrorists there, there's terrorists there. And it's like a blank check to keep going and doing whatever you're doing. So my question is, how do you win? Because I don't believe if a terrorist nation or a terrorist groups, you think they're going to negotiate, they're going to bomb right back, and then they're going to bomb right back. So I'm curious, what is a win? What is an actual, okay, Hezbollah's gone, and they're done, and without, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to figure out, because I've run so many scenarios in my head where I'm like, okay, if me and Pat say, Adam, you and Tom, there's terrorists over there. We could keep coming and keep bombing until when? Because all you have to do is say that there's terrorists. I'm not saying that there's not terrorists in Lebanon. I'm not saying there's not terrorists in Iran. Of course. But what I'm saying is, what's victory? How do you achieve a win? Because again, we're talking about Hezbollah.
Permanent victory?
Permanent victory.
No, there's no such thing.
That's what I'm saying. And that's such.
No, but that's life, though. I think that's how life works. I think that's how business works. Whenever you have people with opposing beliefs of you, that look at the world in a different way, that look at business in a different way, you're never going to have permanent peace. You're just looking at finding ways to make progress. This could be a sign of progress. Here's what Trump had to say yesterday when he was being asked about this. Go ahead, Rob.
Hezbollah I think they will. I think it's going to be, actually, it's very exciting because it's 48 years. We're going to be meeting with Bibi Netanyahu, as you know, and the president of Lebanon. And I had a great talk with both of them today. They're going to be having a ceasefire, and that'll include Hezbollah. And I think it could be number 10 for me.
It could be number 10.
Talking about making peace agreements.
Right. So, but then this also leads to, yesterday when he's having a conversation, they asked him, they asked him about, did you hear about the 4 people? Is this the one, Rob?
Yes, sir.
Iran is taking out 4 people, and one of them is a woman. And look at his response. Go for it.
Iran's going to execute 4 more protesters, reportedly, including the first woman protester.
Execute 4 protesters.
Well, tell that to the Pope. What do you say? Tell that to the Pope.
You want to patch things up with the Pope?
That Iran is going to. Did you just hear that? Iran is going to execute 4 people, including a woman?
Who's he talking to there? Do you know?
Well, probably a person asked the question about the Pope prior to that, so that's why he's pointing at that reporter. But he says, tell that to the Pope. So look at Iran. Hey, they're executing 4 more and one girl they're killing. Tell that to the Pope. And when he's saying Pope, he's saying because the Pope is against war. That's what he's saying, right? Because the Pope made a comment about it. Tom, with things going on right now with Iran and the vessels trying to go through of Strait of Hormuz, one of the ships was going through, and by the way, this China one, if we have that, Rob, for me to read it, Chinese oil tanker retreats from the Strait of Hormuz, shows how Trump's blockade is working. Okay, Chinese oil tanker retreat from the Strait of Hormuz shows how the blockade is working. So this is kind of interesting. So China's got great relationships with Iran. They should be able to go through, but wait a minute. They're now not? What happened there? A sanctioned Chinese oil tanker crossed the Strait of Hormuz, then was forced to double back and return to Iran after President Trump blockaded the vital shipping lane. According to ship tracking data, aborted voyage of the Rich Sterry, a Malawi-flagged Chinese-owned tanker that was blacklisted by the U.S. in 2023, shows how the U.S. Navy successfully blocked the flow of ships carrying Iranian oil. Since the war began, most vessels have had traveled out of Strait of Hormuz, have been loaded with Iranian exports. Given the cash-strapped regime vital funds, so far the U.S. blockade on the eastern side of the Strait of Gulf of Oman has stopped at least 5 ships from heading out into the oceans. According to the trade analysis from Kepler, Iran has stifled nearly all traffic through Hormuz, which previously carried 20% of the world's oil by threatening to attack tankers if they don't pay the ransom. Iran, the Rich Sterry, which was previously accused of helping Tehran skirt oil sanctions, has masked its location in the Persian Gulf for more than 10 days before attempting to leave the Strait of Hormuz on Monday. The tanker, owned by Shanghai's Zhongran Shipping Company, was loaded with 250,000 barrels of methanol. Initially appeared to make it through the blockade, but updated tracking data revealed the ship stopped in the Gulf of Oman on Tuesday. Tom, what does this U-turn mean about the power U.S. has that even China is now listening?
Well, it means that it is not, to say that we are controlling the strait right now is absolutely true. And you'll also notice, and Rob, if you could put that map back up, we showed the map the other day, the one you just had, just right there. You see how they're going on the northern route, Pat? Remember we looked over Oman? The 2 shipping routes went right around Oman. That is on the south side, but there's mines there. And Iran says, I don't know where the mines are. I don't remember where I put them. Okay, and now they've got to run this at the top. So we've okay, you're not going through. So number one, Trump had a conversation with Xi that got leaked, and reliable sources are indicating that one of the things he told Xi, stop providing military support. They were sending him jet fuel, or rocket fuel, excuse me. They were sending him rocket fuel. And apparently they gave them satellite images of the U.S. bases at other places in UAE and Oman, where they had actually launched those rockets that hit the tankers that hit U.S. bases there. So China was giving them basically intel, targeting intel. So there's a lot going on with China here, and the Rich Sterry is a smuggling ship. When we've had blockades, we've had economic sanction, that thing has been loading up with oil and sneaking back and forth through, going to China and back. And as far goes 2023, they identified that ship is basically a Chinese government operation getting them oil back and forth. So what's going on here? The blockade is working. The U.S. military is there. And even China's ship said, yeah, I'm going to hang a U-turn here. I'm not going to screw with
now,
this.
While that's going on, they did say that China slammed U.S. military blockade of Strait of Hormuz as a dangerous and irresponsible move. Rob, I think you got a clip on this one if you want to go through it.
I think dangerous and irresponsible would be if they kept sailing.
Well, but what this move here officially showed that China is more afraid of America than Iran, and they're now listening. This is a very, very important situation here. Go ahead, Rob. Play the clip.
Regarding the second question, I have already stated China's position. As for the third question you raised, China has always maintained a prudent and responsible approach to military exports. We exercise strict control based on our export laws and international obligations. We oppose groundless smears or malicious associations.
Did he just say anything? What did he just say, Rob? I don't even know.
First of all, I don't trust him because he has an English accent.
Yeah, he's the foreign minister of China.
Yeah,
But what did
and
he
he has
really
an
say?
English
What was
accent.
his message?
I'm not sure.
What did he say, Rob?
We've been careful with military exports. Well, why are you sending rocket fuel
Yeah. What?
to the guy that needs rockets?
Adam.
Okay, check it. Here's what's going on. Trump launched Operation Epic Fury
Yeah.
against Iran.
Yeah.
Do you know the new term they're using right now? Operation Economic Fury. Have you heard this yet?
Yes.
Economic Fury. So when you hear Economic Fury, you're thinking, okay, that's next level with Iran. Nope. Pause. It's all about China. What I want to do is reframe the conversation. Venezuela. What's happening in Cuba right now? Iran, Syria, Lebanon, Russia. It's all China. What do I mean? It's all China. Because of the end game is China. Do you think when we finish winning this war against Iran, which we will, as we militarily defeat them, strategically defeat them, economically defeat them, Trump's going to say, who's next? We know who's next. We're about to have midterm soon. The second half of this administration is going to be all about China. And what we're doing is having economic warfare versus China. Now, how do you pose economic warfare? Well, it's very clear. Like Tom said, you're choking off oil from the Strait of Hormuz. So one other thing, either Trump, one of two things, you tell me what you think it is. Either Trump is a complete buffoon, madman, running around crazy, doesn't know what he's doing, completely controlled by Israel, doesn't know what he's doing, or everything he's doing is strategic, well thought out, calculated, and a cold-blooded economic plan. I happen to think he's on number two, the latter. So what's happening? Oil warfare, U.S. hegemony, stability through strength, drill, baby, drill, making sure the petrodollar still is basically done in U.S. dollars. Everything he's doing with tariffs, and last but not least, BRICS. It's all about economic fury versus China.
And by the way, and I'm all for everything for America. I've been seeing people online that are literally cheering against us. And you talked about the strategic.
Are they
part.
Americans?
No, Americans that are of course.
So can I pause for a second?
yeah.
You're seeing people online
People in America
are
want
Americans
us to lose
that are rooting what? What are you
against
saying?
America.
Against America.
Yes. Okay, so can I get to the point?
No, my point is,
That's-
let's not just gloss over
No,
that.
I'm not- well-
Imagine you're in America rooting against America.
Adam, there's people that burn the flag and hate him. We
Of
see
course.
them all the time.
They hate
Adam,
Trump.
let him speak.
Yeah, and Adam, and but yeah, let me get to my point.
I'm getting you,
My
baby.
point is, there's those people, and you're talking about. And by the way, I'm an American. Regardless, whatever's going, I have to support the president. Even though Joe Biden, I made fun of him because he was old. I still don't want him to make stupid decisions because it affects us and children and everything like that. And I get what you're saying. The Strait of Hormuz, economic. What's the other stuff that you said? The strategic and all that. But you know what? It's almost as if everybody forgot the Iranian people. This whole thing, I remember, was for them.
I got your back. Don't you hang those boys. I got your back.
I got your back. Well, let me finish, Adam.
That was one component.
No,
it wasn't the entire thing.
Hold on a second. This is me as Vincent, just
Yeah,
an American
go ahead.
sitting around. It was for the people, but now they're negotiating with the same people that were killing the people in the street. So are they going to change the leadership? Because I haven't heard a peep from the people, and that's what my heart goes out for them because they did their part. They revolted. They were in the street. They lost all their lives, bro. They're getting hanged today. My point is, I love the economic victory, but if the people are still in charge, the terrorists are still in charge, how is that ever going to help them, Pat? We have to go in there, and the goal was the regime change, topple, whatever. And I just feel for them.
Yeah,
I feel like their voices are lost.
100%. I'm with you there. I will tell you the one part. There is no winning with Trump. So, and the part that I noticed with his critics, if he goes in, they'll say, oh, he's putting boots on the ground. Yeah. If he doesn't go in, he says, oh, look, he didn't take care of the Iranian people. He said he's going to come out and help out.
Taco.
If he
chickened out.
Yeah. If he doesn't do the deal and the market, oil prices go up, oh, look what he's doing. He doesn't know how to take care of the economy. If, boom, oil prices go to 83, did you notice all he cares about is economy? Vinny, there is no winning for this guy. Okay, he has to make a choice of what it is to lead and go out there and make it happen. Now watch this. One interesting thing's going on. Look at Trump's tweet here, okay? if you want to play this clip, it says Iran has just announced that the Strait of Iran is fully open and ready for passage. Strait of Hormuz, he changed it to Strait of Iran. Play the clip.
The screen for a reason. The Iranian foreign minister, who seems to be really the guy in charge, or at least publicly for Iran, just fired this off in a post on X, and I'm going to read it for you now. In line with the ceasefire in Lebanon, the passage for all commercial vessels through Strait of Hormuz is declared completely open for the remaining period of ceasefire on the coordinated route as already announced by Ports and Maritime Organization of the Islamic Republic of Iran. So on that news,
this is from the White House 24 minutes ago.
The stock market is flying through the roof. That opens in 28 minutes. So
White
we'll
House
watch that.
just tweeted this 24 minutes ago from the president. So that means there's a conversation that just had for this to be had. And then Kobashi letters also posted it, Rob. Iran has officially opened it up. In line with ceasefire in Lebanon, the passage for all commercial vessels through Strait of Hormuz is declared completely open for the remaining period of ceasefire on the coordinated route and already announced by Ports and Maritime Organization of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Now, what this means, economically, the market, Tom, what is the market looking like right now?
The market's on fire right now, Pat.
S&P 7123.
Oh my
The S&P is
God.
at all-time high. NASDAQ is all-time high. VIX is completely low, meaning volatility is very low.
The Dow is trying to
get back to the 50.
Yep.
Yeah,
We're back, baby. We're so back.
That was back 1.1% today. NASDAQ up a point. S&P up 0.75 of a point.
Oil's down to
Gold
84,
almost
which you mentioned.
4,900 right now. Almost 4,900 for gold.
Gold is 4,900. Bitcoin's at what? Where's Bitcoin at?
Bitcoin's, I think,
75?
at 75, I want to say.
Yeah, 75. So, but
76.
I want to know the details. I want to know what was negotiated. I want to know what's being talked about behind closed doors. I want to know, what a part of it for me, like remember back in 2 years ago when I said one of the most important things for me on 2024 for the president to win. Do you remember what I said was one of the most important things for me? It was the Panama Canal. I said it's very important for us to control the Panama Canal, right? Because long term, you don't want China to see what's their next manipulative game to play against the U.S. You know what's the next thing I want U.S. to have control over? Karg Island. I want us there. I want us to have in Iran. I want, because there's about 4 or 5 islands around there. I want us to have some kind of an influence over that, because if you do, then guess officially what you do. Because the Panama Canal is important to China for what reason? Think about the difference between Strait of Hormuz and Panama Canal. How are they each important to China?
That's how
and
they
to
got
us?
the Venezuelan oil. That's how during embargo, that's how they got Venezuelan oil.
From where?
They got it from Venezuela and then through the Panama Canal. It went across the Pacific Ocean. That's how they got, that's one of the ways they were getting energy that they needed.
Today, think about today in 2026 and the future. What role does Strait of Hormuz play for them, and what role does Panama Canal play for China and for U.S.? Moving forward, after what we just learned the last 6 weeks.
If China doesn't have a more dominant negotiating position on both of those, preferably one, it means they're now at the mercy of other people, and they can't play below the surface because they need the energy.
So
it means they're at the mercy of the United States.
Correct.
It means what I'm seeing right now, if I could just kind of encapsulate everything. We pull up this fear and greed index, right? On CNN, they always do
greed
this.
is super high.
1 week ago, it was at extreme fear. So during COVID, oh my God, the markets, 6 months later, all-time high.
That's right.
We've seen this enough as grown-ups at this point to realize the market goes like this. But over time, everything's okay. It's World War III.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is I'm talking about Strait of Hormuz and Panama Canal. Let me stay on that. For me, Panama Canal, Western Hemisphere, where we live, that keeps us safe, that if they want to do the next COVID, they can't. So now we need to make sure that the current president gets along with U.S., but who the hell is going to be the next president? If all of a sudden Panama's next president is a socialist, communist, one of these Lula type of guys that takes over, then it changes the game. And it's very possible that something like that could happen because of what's going on in that region. So we have to control that part. But to me, with Strait of Hormuz, if China had a great relationship with Iran, they signed a 25-year, $400 billion contract, whatever the agreement was, that they had the two of them, Rob, if you want to pull that up, the 25-year, $400 billion agreement between the two. If U.S. is now at Karg Island, and you notice what Trump said in the tweet, what did he say? What did he call the strait?
Iran.
Strait of Iran.
So what is he saying in the negotiation? What is he saying in the negotiation?
Do you think that was intentional? They didn't call it Strait of Hormuz?
No, it's Tom. Trump doesn't mess up words.
Yeah, somebody.
Trump, when he says the Gulf of America, he's not fooling around.
So he went from Strait of Hormuz to Strait of Iran?
Yes.
And you're saying that there's a
That has to be on
message
purpose.
there.
No, to me,
Well, what do you think it is?
to me, I think something happened behind closed doors, and he told him, he says, you know what I'm even going to do? I'm even going to change it. As long as we become partners 50-50, here's how it works. We're going to have a military base there. We're going to help with support as well, but you can't have Iran anymore. And if you even think about having nuclear, but I'm going to give you the name. Because remember back in the days, the Shah was being interviewed, and what did the Shah say? The Shah said, Mike Wallace asked him a question. He said, Mike Wallace is the dad. Chris Wallace is the son.
Yeah.
Am I saying it correctly?
Yeah.
Mike Wallace asked him a question. If you put Shah and then put
this the Persian Gulf thing?
Put
Yeah.
Persian Gulf, and look at the way he answers it. He says, try to find a short.
It was a conversation
Right
about the Arabian Gulf versus
Watch
Persian
this. Started
Gulf.
from the
This
beginning.
one?
Go ahead.
As you know, I have been across the Gulf that you call Persian and they call Arabian. Why do you call it Gulf? You have been to school, haven't you? Yes. What was the name that you have read during your school days? Persian Gulf. All right. But they do call it Arabian.
They can call it whatever they want. See, this guy was a G.
So what was he saying about the word Gulf?
But words matter.
Yeah.
Words matter. So if Trump, knowing words matter, look, some of the biggest deals that happen, a bigger company bought a smaller company, and the only reason the smaller company wouldn't allow the bigger company to sell is because of name rights. And the bigger company is like, no, we're going to name it AT&T. We're going to maintain your name, not our name. So a $200 billion company buys a $50 billion company, but allows the $50 billion company to take over the name just to, because that matters a lot. That kind of stuff matters. So for him to say, the Strait of Iran, I guarantee you this is part of the negotiation that's taking place for vanity reasons to give him something. But I know he got, because he said, I don't want 90% of what I asked for. I don't want 90%. I want it all.
Yep.
I want to know what all means. Okay, I want to know what he asked for. I want to know what this all means that he asked for in a negotiation. We're going to hopefully find out here pretty soon as we go with this, and more talks come with this. Well, let me get to the next topic here that we got outside of this. Next topic I want to go into, and by the way, they said if there's peace talks, Rob, that he may fly out to Pakistan. Do you have that clip to show it? I think he said if they do end up getting this thing done and everything is over with, I'm willing to travel to Pakistan myself. And is that it right there? Peace talks between Israel. I don't know which one it is, but there was a clip that he said that he is willing to go out there. And no, it's somewhere there, Rob. It's somewhere there. Okay. All right, let's get to the next story. Next story I want to get to is let's go to the Stop Nick Shirley Act. In the Stop Nick Shirley Act, there's a story that comes out. What page is that on, Rob? The Stop Nick Shirley Act?
Stop Nick Shirley Act.
17. Nick Shirley warns California bill could punish people trying to expose government fraud. Here's Nick Shirley. Go for it.
What do you think? Is this the Stop Nick Shirley Act in California?
Yeah, they're trying to make it so citizen journalists or just average Americans who are going about seeing what's happening inside their community, they're trying to scare them from talking about potential fraud taking place inside of these communities. And think about it. They're literally willing to impose a $10,000 fine or imprisonment if you go and seek to find out the truth about a location that could potentially be fraudulent inside your own neighborhood.
Nick, let's just kind of play out that hypothetical. So whether you were in Minnesota, you also went to California, you would go up to the Quality Leering Center, a clearly fake daycare in Minnesota. There's your shirt. Yes, always on. And you would attempt to see if there's any children inside, right? And somebody comes out and talk to you. And now that person who's there possibly committing fraud could file a complaint in California that Nick Shirley is harassing me online, right? That's how it would work in effect, and then you would either see a year in jail or a $10,000 fine?
Correct. That's what it sounds like. And it sucks because inside these states like Minnesota and California, they've been proven to let fraud take place inside these immigrant communities. You had the Somalians in Minnesota and the Armenians in California, and they're trying to protect these people who are committing this fraud. They're stealing millions upon millions of dollars, and it just makes you wonder who their donors are. Who are their donors? Because why would they create this bill to then try and make it harder to expose fraud?
How bad is that, Tom? How bad is that? What's going on?
It's really bad. And by the way, he just said it. I mean, I brought this up before and I've been asking for it. I want the investigations to go all the way down and do a financial forensic audit and find where the money was donated. And if it is in PAC A, PAC B, PAC C, and those PACs are donating to campaigns, then there's the circle of life for the fraud. You create the fraud, you put some in your pocket, you give a bunch back to a PAC, and it comes back to the representative. But check this out. Do you know who sponsored this? Mia Bonta. Mia Bonta is a California State Assemblywoman. She's the Attorney General's wife.
Jeez.
She is the wife of the Attorney General of California. The person that's supposed to be investigating the fraud, his wife is an assemblyman, goes out, Mia Bonta, puts it out. It's called California AB 2624. And by the way, Vinny, fun with English. That's called the Privacy for Immigration Support Service Providers Act.
Oh, really?
Privacy for Immigration, because they feel the proposal needs to establish a program to keep residential addresses confidential against those that might be doxing. Wait a minute. If there's a hospice there, wouldn't you want the address known so people could go to the hospice and get services for a low-income parent or someone that needed hospice? But no, we're going to keep the addresses. This shows you. This shocks me, Pat. It's like right there in plain sight. You can stare into the belly of the beast right here and say, with a straight face, the Privacy for Immigration Support Services Providers Act. With a straight face.
Yeah. Adam.
Well, listen, it proves one thing. California is not Minnesota. It was like Minnesota is the minor leagues. Now he's in the big leagues right now. Going to California. You're talking about a couple $1 billion in Minnesota, whatever the number is. Who knows what the number is in California? So California is not playing games here. By the way, don't we want to encourage our citizens, our journalists, our independent journalists, our free thinkers to eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse? Isn't waste, fraud, and abuse a bad thing? Okay, great. Let's agree on that. We don't want waste, fraud, and abuse. So if you have nothing to hide, cool. Let's open up the books. Let's open up the books. You know, they just had tax day a couple other days. Did you see how gleeful people like Zoran Mondani and people like Karen Bass are for tax day? More revenue, more revenue. Where the hell is this revenue going half the time? So there's clearly waste, fraud, and abuse at this point in all these cities. And what's wrong with finding that? That's just more money that you can play with in the government. Let's turn this frown upside down. Nick Shirley is trying to help you locate lost money. Let's find the money and reallocate it. By the way, last point, they're saying that they're willing to impose a $10,000 fine or imprisonment. I'm not sure about the imprisonment side of things because he's just asking questions. But here's what I guarantee. God forbid there's a $10,000 fine. How quickly do you think people that support Nick Shirley will pay that? I'll sign up. I know we'll sign up. We're going to help this guy do what he's got to do. He's trying to do the right thing, and they're trying to block him from doing it.
Now, let me tell you, here's what is going to happen. Somebody sent me a Manek saying, hey, my business, that was my business that he showed, and we're actually a legitimate business, and we're not a bad business. My mother's been running this place for a long time. And I said, okay, great. I said, Manek them.
Yep.
Nick Shirley's on Manek. Rob, if you want to pull up his Manek, you can Manek them and ask him a question. He'll respond back to you and tell you yes or no. Of
course.
And, you know, but when you're going out there, you're asking the questions like, well, then why don't you give some pamphlets? Why don't you be in business? Why don't you, if you're saying your business hours are 8 to 6, well, then when somebody walks in, act like you're open 8 to 6 because it looks like you're a fraud. So handle your business accordingly, the way that you're doing it instead of, you know, because some people were Manectomy saying that it's not all the businesses that he's looking at that are real or wrong, and they're not wrong. But he needs to, we definitely need more guys like that to go out there, ask questions so we can learn about what's going on.
Of course, I'll just add one more thing. That same person Manected me, and I said, yeah, I hear you. It's not like Nick Shirley is the judge, jury, and executioner. He's a citizen journalist. You can reach him on Manect. This is the power of Manect. And by the way, if he brings up a story or even accuses you, you can go fight it in court of law and find the truth.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying that Nick Shirley is the gospel.
Yeah.
They're saying he's asking questions.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we can't ask questions?
No, and the scary thing, bro, like if you think about it, the guy exposing the fraud becomes the problem and not the fraud itself. That should, and mind you, Adam, why they're all Adam, they're flipping out because they have to protect the scam. And it's not going to stop, bro. Think about it. He exposed these people so much. He's bouncing around, just, you know, exposing hundreds of millions. Guys, and Pat, we talked about this before about his security. This is not a game. Like, he's exposing, like, he's going into the hundreds of millions of dollars, bro. He is a threat to very, very powerful, sneaky, disgusting human beings that have a target on him. And I'm not doing that to scare him. I'm just letting him know I genuinely hope that he's taking this very, very seriously because he's showing how broken the system is. And he's, like I said, all these blue states, he went to Minnesota, now he's in California. They stop chasing the abuse and they start chasing the exposure. Okay, and you know what they're trying to do, right? They're trying to scare watchdogs, citizen journalists, you know, undercover investigators from doing the damage. And this is what bothers me, Pat. This is, again, I always have hope at the end of the day, but what it seems like, because I want all of them, everybody that was involved, Tom, like you said with the forensics, get them, put them in jail. Because I'm getting sick and tired of we said this last week, launching investigations, writing letters. Tulsi Gabbard, what's her title?
Director of
National Intelligence.
DNI.
Another video came out where she's like, Obama, Brennan, all these people, 44-page letter. They all cheated and they all conspired against the sitting president of the United States. Nobody's going to go to jail, okay? COVID, look at what they did. They lied to us of where it came from. No accountability yet. People are dying from turbo cancer. Kids, young boys are all getting myocarditis. Eric Swalwell just got in trouble. Look at the amount of people. They passed that bill, 357 to what, Tom? 65. They're covering up their crimes. I want to see one person go to jail. I want to see them the perp walk and put them in prison, because when it was the other way around, FBI raids, people going to jail, indictment. They were so happy with all those freaking headshots. Can we put somebody? Where's the accountability? I want to see, because I know in Minnesota, 65 of them went to jail. Good, yay. I want people to go to jail. And if you don't think Gavin Newsom, Tom, knows about this hundreds of millions of dollars of fraud, you're lying to yourself.
Yeah, I'll tell you. 60 Minutes was one of the greatest investigative journalism shows in the history of American television. Mike Wallace, Harry Reasoner, Ed Bradley, Moria Schaefer. We all remember it, and there were different reporters at different generations, right? We all watched it. They used to walk up to businesses and surprise them. Remember that?
Yes,
I
love that.
Adam. They used to surprise people. Excuse me, I'm a 60 Minutes. I'd like to talk to you about all the stuff you're putting into the river back there. What is coming out of these pipes? And they would go there. And by the way, you know how they were celebrated? Over 140 Emmys, Pat. 140 Emmys for news, for citizen, for journalism, for uncovering the stuff. But now we go the other way. And now we're going to charge people a $10,000 fine for doing it.
Tom brings up a really, really good point, and I'm wondering if this is something Nick Shirley could do. Nick Shirley needs cover. Right now, it's just, he's a kid, dude. We've hung out with Nick Shirley. He's a kid, and he's doing great work. He's got brains and got balls. If there was an organization, whether it's Fox News, whether it's Drudge Report, whoever, Valuetainment, whatever, that says here's his media credentials, just like we did with 60 Minutes. He's a reporter. He's an investigative journalist. He's a citizen journalist. He's asking questions. What's wrong with that? So 60 Minutes had a cover. 60 Minutes is on CBS, I believe, right?
David Ellison. Okay. Attention, David Ellison.
Let's get someone to give this kid a cover, a shield, so he can go use his sword.
Yeah. All right. So let's get to the next story here. While we're one of the stories that was going viral yesterday was Erica Kirk pulling out of huge Turning Point USA event, is what the title says, New York Post, with J.D. Vance after receiving serious threats. Okay, so let me read the story first to you. And then, Vinny, I'm going to come to you. You tell us what's going on over here, okay? So page 18. Here we go. Turning Point USA CEO Erica Kirk cancels a highly anticipated appearance with J.D. Vance receiving serious threats. Andrew Colvin, a spokesperson of the conservative students activist, stepped in for Charlie Kirk's widow at the Athens, Georgia event and informed the crowd why the grieving mother of two couldn't be there to interview the vice president who still attended the event. I'm going to address it right in front of my vice president. I'm on stage here instead of my friend Erica Kirk because unfortunately she received some very serious threats in her direction. It's a terrible reflection on the state of reality and the state of the country. Part-time jobs out of attacking, COVID added, arguing that some have made part-time jobs out of attacking Erica. Vance indicated he was aware of the threats against Erica 37 and was worried the University of Georgia event would be canceled, but decided to attend the consulting with Secret Service. Obviously, the guys do a very good job. He said, Secret Service detail, and I said, you know what? Let's let Erica do what she needs to do for herself and her family. I'm sure Andrew will fill in, and let's go make this an amazing event. The Vice President lamented the two separate living hells Kirk has been subjected to since her husband's assassination last September, namely the shocking public murder of her children, father, and intense online criticism. Vinny.
Well, Pat, it's pulling out by saying that there's very serious threats, and then right after, the Secret Service says there was no credible threats. None. So let's not play dumb here.
When did Secret Service say
Rob,
that?
can you show that? I think it was yesterday. If I'm not mistaken,
yeah.
Pat,
it was official announcement.
Yeah, right there. Secret Service determines no credible threat to UGA rally after Erica Kirk's cancellation. Okay, like I said, let's not play dumb. J.D. Vance was there, and for anybody that's been around, and we all have been, but a lot of people at home, they don't understand.
Who's a bigger target, the VP
the
or Erica
vice
Kirk?
President? And we know this from experience. When the president came to our other building, guys, they come Secret Service weeks beforehand. They push buttons to make sure there's no freaking bombs. It's insane. They put tarps. This is the number 2 guy in charge in the free world. So when the vice president shows up, everything's locked down. Top level security. So he's safe. How is her life in danger? It doesn't make sense. And mind you, this place, the story doesn't hold up. Now let's look at really what happened. The turnout was weak. If Rob, you could show the video, you don't have to play the audio from the other side. That's the audience. Less than 25% capacity. Allegedly, apparently there was free tickets, so nobody showed up, and that's the bigger problem that nobody wants to admit. Young men aren't even showing up anymore. Not even for the vice president. And he's a young, he hangs out with, Theo Vaughn. He's on the podcast. They're talking about cocaine. That should tell you everything that you need to know. This is not just a bad night. This is a signal. So let's stop pretending. I want everybody out there who understands, God rest his soul, and I love this guy to death. Charlie Kirk, you are not going to replace Charlie Kirk. I don't care. The Charlie Kirk show, they have the empty chair, and these guys are just talking. You're not going to replace him. And we're seeing it. I don't even care. Ben Shapiro was on a couple days after. He's like, I'm going to carry the torch, and I'm going to help. No, you're not. You cannot replace this guy. And I think, Pat, now the time is coming where they're like, Erica's fired, and I get it. She was there for a second. It's just they're losing it. They're losing these young guys because there's nobody that has that fire and that message that Charlie Kirk had. So that's my take.
I feel horrible for the Kirk family. There's not a lot that I'm like, I'm going 10 toes down on this, but I'm going 10 toes down on this. Here's what I predict. Tyler Robinson killed Charlie Kirk. You might have questions of motives and if other people were involved. At the end of the day, they're going to find Tyler Robinson guilty. And if I'm wrong, I will come back here on the show and say, my bad. Erica Kirk did nothing wrong. She's a loyal and faithful wife. And what she's going through after the assassination and murder of her husband, what she's had to put through is disgusting. And that's the best word that I can give. Horrible. They have 2 kids, children, that are never going to spend time with their father. And meanwhile, people are vilifying Erica. You can question whether she's wearing mascara, and you can question her choice of jewelry or glitter or theatrics or why she's business. You can ask all those questions. But to accuse her of killing her husband, accusing her of being happy that her husband is dead, accusing the Turning Point people of being joyful that their leader and founder is gone, to me is so self-serving and disgusting. I can't even imagine. And I hate to even draw this comparison. God forbid anything happened with PBD. You had a knee injury. All I can think about is PBD, how's your knee? When PBD loses his voice, I go, Pat, how you doing? You need some tea? What's going on? Hey, Pat's a pretty crazy freaking driver. You know I am about driving. How many years did I say, you need a driver, bro? How many years did I say, you need a driver? Because I understand he's the golden goose. Charlie was the golden goose of Turning Point USA. To me, it's nonsensical and downright stupid to think that his internal team and his wife would want to see him go. Hold on.
Okay.
To me, it's so stupid and laughable. And I really encourage people to do better out there and do anything. You might not support them, but don't go out of your way to ridicule, condemn, and outright hate them because you don't like Erica Kirk's makeup or how she's acting today. If you had someone that you're married to, a famous person that was assassinated and murdered in front of you, then you can speak. Until then, take a seat.
Well, to the point of the story, her saying that there was a credible threat, and then Secret Service is saying, no, there wasn't a threat.
I don't know.
Hold on,
to me, this is noise in
this
the
is
signal.
This is the story.
Okay.
The story is somebody's lying. Either Erica Kirk is lying or the Secret Service is lying. Number one. Number two, if God forbid this guy died, I'm telling you right now, that would not say PBD podcast. Well, there's no way we're doing the PBD podcast without PBD. I'm sorry. That chair's not going to be empty and we're going to sit here and just keep talking. No, that's my opinion. I don't think that that's right. I think you guys call it the TPUSA podcast and put Charlie's face in the back like a mural.
Let me ask PBD one question. And maybe you would know. I don't know what the conversations you've had with Charlie behind the scenes. And I've had many conversations with Andrew Colvin and Charlie. I mean, what kind of legacy, succession planning, insurance planning do you think Charlie had? What kind of conversations? He's not a business guy. He's not a financial guy. He's not an insurance guy like you are. No, he became a business guy. But eventually, Pat's been doing this. What do you think Charlie had in place? What kind of planning do you think he said?
I don't know. Here's what I would tell you. Historically, if you study living trusts and estate planning, Rob, can you pull up a list of celebrities and billionaires who had no living trust and estate planning? Okay, just if you go through a list of names.
Of course.
Billionaires?
You know these names.
Vinny, when I tell you how
Jackson,
long
Brown,
the list is,
Joe
it's
Robbie.
unbelievable. There was a poster made in the insurance industry that was going everywhere from Insurance News Net back in the days.
Yep.
Look at that. Prince, $300 million. No will, years of legal battle. Aretha Franklin, no formal will. Not even estate plan, not slats, not living trust. Jimi Hendrix, Bob Marley, Amy Winehouse, none. No plan. Kurt Cobain, no proper estate plan. Chadwick Boseman, no will. Wife had to go through probate. Chadwick Boseman. Okay, Bob Saget, no will. Norm Macdonald, no will. Estate handled by intestate law. Sonny Bono, no will. James Dean, no will. Look at this. This guy's worth $1.5 billion. Howard Hughes, no will.
Your friend Pablo Picasso.
So I don't know. I think probably things were in place, but to what extent, I don't know. And I'm not going to speculate there. Here's what I will say, Vinny. Yes. For me, where I'll go with this is a couple different things. I'm asking every source. Mm-hmm. Was there a Secret Service? Was there a threat? Was there not threat? No threat. Apparently Vance's team says there was. Another Secret Service team says there wasn't. TPUSA says there was. Selective hearing. Pick and choose. Mm-hmm. Whether you want to say there wasn't, there wasn't. So I don't know that part.
Well,
does it? Let me finish,
sure,
Adam. Does it help the fact that the audience wasn't good? No. Does this change optics if the place was full, packed, with room 8,000 people? It would change the positioning. Is she in a place right now that until she sits down and addresses concerns, is she constantly going to be attacked like this for a while? Yes. Who really looked bad, though, at the Turning Point USA event? Only one person looked bad for me.
The vice president.
The vice president. Because to me, what that made vice president look is that people are not coming to see you. You are one of the who is the top 3 youngest vice presidents of all time, Rob? Who are the top 3 youngest vice presidents of all time in the history of America?
He's up there.
He's up there in the top 3. I don't know who is going to be younger than him. It's definitely not going to be Joe Biden when he was a VP to Obama. Who is the youngest vice president? I don't know. But something tells me he's probably in the top 3. And you mean to tell me, Nixon was 40. Nixon, how old is J.D. Vance? Can we just ask how old?
He's in his early to mid 40s.
Okay,
maybe
so
46, 40.
He's 41.
He's 41?
So he was a...
I'm older than...
By the way, he was a VP at 40.
Yeah.
Just turned 40, okay? So you're talking about one of the youngest, he's the 3rd youngest vice president in the history of America. And you cannot draw a bigger audience, okay, to come and want to hear you? You can't? So if I'm on JD's team, I would be calling TPUSA and saying, guys, did you do a better job promoting this? Like, I'm going to be asking that question. So then let's go to the next one, which is even the bigger concern, because here's what you don't want. In this business that you're in the audience gathering business. Mm-hmm. When I would go to the event and we talked to the AV team, the guys that we had dinner with at Vegas, if you remember,
guys.
He was there when first time I went to one of his Turning Point USA events. Charlie wanted to show me the event. So he walked me behind. It was open. He says, look at this, and we're going to do this. He was so proud because events are so hard. It is so hard and so taxing, and someone has to care about hitting the numbers and all that stuff. But to me today, TPUSA has a bigger problem because the face of TPUSA doesn't draw an audience. Mm-hmm. There is nothing else that's going to draw an audience. How many times are people going to be sitting there saying they'll go to one event? Like imagine the day, Jobs died. We mourned. Boom, people moved on. Reagan died. You mourn. People move on. What's the reality of it when we die? Can you imagine if I die and I tell all of you guys, hey, every day I want you to come to the cemetery and mourn the loss of my life.
Every day.
Don't you think that's a little weird?
Of course.
Why would that be a little bit weird?
Because we have lives, we have things that we have to do.
You guys got to move on.
Yeah.
You got to, as important as we think we are, hey, like this, you're here, you're gone. People have things they got to do, Tom. People have things they got to handle. People got to. So, what is the brand now? Is it every time coming and it's like, wow, amount of pain? People are not going to come to that over and over again. They're not. This is why people have one funeral. And even the Bible says what when we die? Like dust, you're gone, right? What happens?
Dust in the wind.
Yeah, so to me, a part of this, just yesterday, I'm talking to Tico, and last night he's in bed with us, and Jennifer's like, babe, you got to go to your bed. And I'm like, babe, it's our little boy. Let him just say, babe, this guy's, last thing he is a little boy laying in there and just.
Taller than me now.
He's taller than you. But he's talking about Charlie last night.
Really?
Yeah, he's talking about Charlie last night. It's a thing in the family. But to me, TPUSA has a problem today to rebrand of where it's going to next. If it's going to be a CPAC, well, then great. Rebrand to be in a CPAC type of thing where people come up and they speak and they do. And this year's CPAC's event wasn't the craziest event this year. CPAC didn't have a crazy event this year. It wasn't like the best event that they had, and so, but we need CPAC to succeed.
Of course.
We need TPUSA to succeed. You need a place for kids to go to. But if they keep going like this, and another video, and like when you're winning, the moment you lose, vultures are waiting to show the world that you're losing. Yep. They can't wait. God forbid a little bit change. Did you see? And haters want to celebrate that. Mm-hmm. TPUSA as an organization can't be sitting around right now thinking everything's going to work out and people are going to keep showing up for, just because they're going to show up. They're not. The market's moving. And those kids have gone to another man that they're listening to. Or different men and women. Right. So unless you think it's just going to be Andrew, you think it's just going to be, no. You got work to do. So I'm more talking from the business standpoint, and I'm more talking about JD. I'd be having a conversation. This has not been the best 6 weeks for JD. Yeah. If you think about 2028, it's not been the best 6 weeks for JD. Okay? You're not drawing an audience. You hopefully, if he goes and closes the deal with Iran, that could be a first victory that he's been desperately needing in a long time. It's a lot of different things that's going on. But one of the comments he did make at the TPUSA event was a question that was asked about the Pope. And Rob, I don't know if you have that clip or not. Vance tells Pope Leo to be careful. Okay? Holman says, leave politics alone. Is that the clip, Rob, that he's being asked? Which clip is that when Vance tells Pope Leo to be careful?
No, that was a different clip. Let me grab it real quick.
But is it around the same context, around the same story, or?
No, the clip I had was him explaining why Erica Kirk was not in attendance.
Okay, so then that's not the same clip. But as you're going and you're seeing what's going on here, the president, and the Pope, go back to the quote. Let me see what the quote was. If this is the same clip, be careful. But go ahead and play the clip. This is it. Go for it. It's the same one.
When the Pope says that God is never on the side of those who wield the sword, there is more than a 1,000-year tradition of just war theory. Okay? Now, we can, of course, have disagreements about whether this or that conflict is just, but I think that it's important, in the same way that it's important for the Vice President of the United States to be careful when I talk about matters of public policy, I think it's very, very important for the Pope to be careful when he talks about matters of theology. And I think that one of these issues here is that there has been, again, hey, random dude screaming, I told you I'd respond to your point. I just want to respond to this question first. But I think one of the issues here is that if you're going to opine on matters of theology, you've got to be careful. You've got to make sure it's anchored in the truth. And that's one of the things that I try to do. And it's certainly something I would expect from the clergy, whether they're Catholic or Protestant. Now, to number one,
So look, this is my position on this. What do I think the Pope needs to say? Like, and who am I to say what the Pope needs to say? But what would I like to hear from the Pope? You know what I would like to hear from the Pope? No war. That's not a what do you call it? A
controversial point.
No, I hope that's what he's saying. Yeah. I'm not. Can you imagine if the Pope is like, let's go slay him?
Yeah, right.
I don't want to hear that from the Pope. Some of us that are super, like whenever I'm with my pastor, I know what my pastor is going to tell me. Hey, are you spending time with the family? Okay. Can you imagine if the pastor says, you got to work harder? Yeah. You got to go work 100 hours a week. The pastor's like, hey, go spend time. Hey, go open up the Bible. Hey, go to church. That's the job to say that. Okay, so I'm not somebody that doesn't understand the position that he's got. And then the criticism, handle it. With what Trump's got to do. Whenever you choose to become a president, it's not everybody's job. But to me, on the JD side today, with what's going on, it's going to be interesting how he's going to maneuver going into 2028. I'm actually really curious as a case study to see how he's going to handle that part. Because it's interesting, right? He is with TPUSA, Erica Kirk, audience comes, but then on the other side, he has a group that's on his side that's non-interventionist, isolationist, and then the other side, this is going to be 2028. Vinny, as a guy that just loves to see competition, I am just so curious in how all these guys are going to be maneuvering.
Can I ask you one question real quick?
Of course.
What is the percentage that you think that J.D. Vance does not run in 2028 and let this all fall on?
He has to run. I think he has to run.
So what's the percentage of him not running?
He really is that talented, though. He's that talented and formidable. The problem what he's doing right now is if he's not too careful. See, Charlie was talented extremely, but he wasn't like this. Charlie was like loose. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, so JD's a little bit like this.
30, yeah.
He's a little bit like too, and Trump's not like this. Trump is a little bit like himself, right? So I don't know if this goody two-shoe type of and by the way, great story upbringing that he has, but what he had to overcome in the book that he wrote, all of that. It's a phenomenal testimony. But he has to run. There's no way in the world. It's a less than 10% chance he doesn't run for me.
Less than 10.
Oh, yeah, he's going to run.
Less than 10% he doesn't run.
not.
Because there is still so many things to happen. But if I'm JD and his team, I'm going to be working with the president to have a few big victories. Because what's JD's biggest victory so far?
Becoming the vice president.
Outside of that, what's the biggest victory so far?
Being in this conversation.
No, but that's not what I'm asking. Honestly, you want to know what the biggest victory is? The way he handled the debate with Tim Walz. It was so beautiful and classy.
Yeah.
The way outside of that, what's the biggest victory? He needs some of it.
No.
He needs some of it. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Of course, he's gotten more pull because he's ahead of Rubio, still on the Kalshi polls. But we'll see. Tom, your thoughts on this?
Well, two things. TPUSA is a critically important organization. They help swing the election. Some people say they did swing the election. Charlie personally gave us all the statistics in Arizona about the number of kids that they were registered Republicans, and that the math they show that they delivered the state of Arizona in the election. Wow. How many organizations can say they've done that? And he did it for a couple places. And he was up there moving kids into the debate realm to really wonder what they're thinking, why they were thinking. So he was permanently teaching kids how to think and how to think about these things. That is the history of TPUSA. And you touched on it, Pat. My concern is that the succession is not here and people are not coming to it. And so what are you going to be, TPUSA? TPUSA has to find its future without Charlie. Are you just going to be a PAC and collect money from the super donors that have been supporting you and give that to campaigns? That's one option, but who's going to be up at the microphone doing it? But it's a critically important organization, touched all these kids' lives in a positive way, and they got to figure out the succession path forward. That's my opinion.
So I think we're all going to be in for a big disappointment. We've been so lucky over the last 20 years, whether you're Democrat or Republican, to have two of the most consequential nominees, candidates, and presidents we've ever seen. Barack Obama, whether you voted for him, like him, dislike him, was a transformational president. Transformational. One of one. Trump, that and then some. What we're about to see in 2026 and midterms and 2028 is a major letdown. Because if you're judging J.D. Vance or Rubio or whatever woke person they come up on the left, Gavin Newsom, J.B. Pritzker, Gretchen Whitmer, you pick a name. None of them, Biden included, are going to have the Obama quality, the cachet, the personality, none of that. And ain't nobody in America, unless The Rock smells what he's cooking, all of a sudden turns into a businessman, is going to be able to duplicate what Trump did. So we're judging J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, all these people in the lens of the GOATs. You talk about Charlie's one of one. I think he's one of one. Good luck replacing one of one. Good luck, coming after a Trump. I don't see it's going to happen. So I think, they say this is the most consequential election. 2028, 2020, it's the most consequential election. This might be the most important election because we're not going to have a Trump, maybe. We're not going to have an Obama, Biden. These people have been there forever. There's going to be all new cast of characters, but be prepared for a letdown.
Well, let me show a video of what Tucker said about the podcast. This is the video clip that, and by the way, my reaction is going to be a separate reaction. I'm going to sit in the room and tell you my thoughts. But here's what Tucker had to say about the podcast. Is he reacting to the Wednesday podcast or the Monday podcast?
Monday podcast.
Okay, so Monday podcast, the comments that were made, here's Tucker reacting, saying, Tucker Carlson calls out PBD for attacking Catholics. Go for it.
Here's Patrick Bet-David on his podcast a day or two ago. Watch this.
I don't know why Catholics, have this issue with Jews. I don't know what it is. They have this. I don't listen. I get the Jews have issues with Christians, and they'll make fun, and they'll say stuff like, "Oh, your Jesus is gonna do." They'll say, "Well, he was a Jew anyways, right?"
Yeah.
But then Catholics have that issue with Jews. And they act like, they're all innocent and everything. And when you look at Catholics, the amount of centralized power they have. Centralized. If you know what the total Catholic population is worldwide? It's like 1.213 billion. Jews are 15 million.
15 million.
But Jews are decentralized, meaning Jews don't have somebody they listen to that says, hey, you better do this. Catholics, God forbid you say something about the Pope. They're like, hey, man, listen, who is that Pope figure in the Christian community? We don't have one. No. If I ask you right now who's the Pope in the Christian community, you don't have somebody to look at. Who is it? Which pastor?
Yeah, exactly.
No, they don't.
We don't have one.
It's an independent network.
It's just the Bible.
So if you look at only Catholics and Muslims have somebody that they look at as their supreme leader, like, you got to go to somebody. But even more, it's Catholic.
Well, there's
Not
only
even-
two theocracies in the world:
Catholicism.
Islam. I'm sorry, the Islamic Republic of Iran.
Yep.
And the Vatican.
Yeah.
Those are the two major
So-
theocracies.
So actually, the Vatican is very much like the Nazi Iranian government, the theocratic government, the mullahs. It's all basically the same. They've got the complicated dress.
This is
they
where
hate
you
the
play
Jews,
the
as Patrick
divisive.
David just
We're
said.
1 minute.
Catholics have a problem with the Jews. A problem with the Jews. It's slander.
Keep going.
It's an attack on the world's largest and oldest Christian denomination, and it's taking place openly.
What a beautiful divide and conquer
And
way
it's
of doing it.
all coming from the same source.
Here we go.
Which is Israel. The issue is
Everything
Israel.
Ends with that.
Here's
for you.
Patrick Bet David.
You can pause it right there. I will react to this. And this is coming from a guy that has been a fan of Tucker for a long time, but I have to set the record straight. And I have an idea I'm going to be proposing to Tucker. I hope he takes it. I don't know if he will. When I react to the video sometime right after this in the podcast, and the reason why I'm doing it myself, I don't want Adam to jump in. Well, let me tell you, I don't want any Adam voice. So that's why I'm doing it separately. So Adam wants to jump in and give his opinion on this. I want to give my opinion. If he wants to independently react to it, he can. I'm going to give my thoughts on this privately in a video clip that's going to go out. You'll see it on X. And for those of you guys that are supporters, react. For those of you guys that are not, tear it apart. I expect both of it. But I will be reacting to this. I've never, ever in my life, when my parents got a divorce, and there were guys that knew how to poke each family, they were divisive. Ask anybody that has done business with me who's a friend of mine or an ally of mine we've won together. I don't like dividers. And Tucker in this situation sounds like he's being manipulative and dividing. And I don't like that. Because America's very important to me, very, very important to me. It's the most important country in the world to me. I've been here for a long time. I will react to it extensively with a lot of thoughts I have, and we'll address that. But I wanted to show that clip to you because I know some. Oh, yeah, what were you? We were in meetings all day yesterday, but I'm going to react to it. Later on today, the video will go out. Okay, so there you have it. Let's go to the next thing that we have here. I want to show you this one clip that I saw this yesterday. I'm like, this cannot be real, right? And it's happening, Vinny, more and more often with, kids being adopted by gay couples. And this kid has to sit there and understand this is going to be the norm. Now, by the way, Vinny,
yes,
to a lot of people, they think this is very normal and it's okay. And FYI, just about 30, 40 years ago, this was not okay. This wasn't something that was accepted. It's a new thing that's being more and more accepted. And to me, I'm not comfortable with it. I think it creates too much risk. We don't know for a fact what these men are doing. We don't know everything about them. How much can we go investigate to feel comfortable to allow them to adopt another boy? But here's a clip that went viral a couple days ago. Is that the fellow in the video, Rob? Shane McAnally?
Pardon me, sir?
That's his last name.
McNally?
McAnally.
It actually is McAnally. You're right.
Guys, what
you're right.
wrong
I mean,
with
if we're going to be honest, I swear to you, McAnally.
No, guys, I don't know why you're...
Guys, let's just call
Rob
him
is
Shane.
laughing like I did this on purpose. I'm pronouncing what I was... Okay, let's just call him Shane. Go ahead and play.
Unbelievable.
Play the video. Watch this. Mama.
No, mama. Do you want dada or pop?
Oh, man.
Who do you want? Dada or pop? No. Do you want dada? You want pop? No way, Jose. I think. Oh. There is no mama.
Oh my God, man.
Bro,
goodness.
Sorry, bro.
You have dada.
Bro, jeez.
You have pop. Two choices. No mama.
Oh, man.
Oh, this breaks my heart. This is...
No mama. Dada or pop? No. Who do you...
Okay, Benny.
I don't know if I don't know who can watch that and not feel disgusted.
Let me just
These
read
guys
this.
are-
It says 2 gay men in Nashville are sparking nationwide outrage after recording themselves mocking the baby they had via surrogacy as it cries for its mother. And obviously, we saw the rest. Go ahead, Vinny.
Okay, Pat, this is a newborn wired by God to want his mom. And instead of comfort and he's getting mocked, like it's entertainment, and that's the part that pisses me off. Okay, then they go online calling it their kid. Anybody they went online and saying it's homophobic, like the kid is homophobic, like that's funny. And then you got people in the comments cheering him on like it's normal. All right, it's not normal. It's twisted and it's disgusting. And I said this before, Pat. I was on your side the first time that we did it.
We were Vegas when we talked about
exactly. I don't respect the idea of people going out and buying kids like it's a transaction, okay? If you're gay and you chose that lifestyle that you cannot create, and now you want to go around acting like you can replace that, like a child, biologically and spiritually wired to need like the mom, you can't. You gave up that right, okay? That's the life you chose. Stay in your lane, all right? And that right here proves what I'm talking about. The baby is crying for his freaking mother. And instead of being held and loved and nursed, they're laughing at this kid, okay? And you're filming it and turning it into content. That's evil behavior. I don't care how you want to look at it out there. You want to be like, oh, everybody, no, it's evil, all right? And the baby, the part that should scare people the most is not even them. It's the thousands and thousands of people clapping for it online, okay? Defending it, acting like this is freaking progress. And that's how you know something is broken at the core of this culture. The child didn't ask for any of this, and he's stuck with it. And I think that's the part that everybody out there that heard this, I almost had to take my headphones off hearing that kid cry. That should piss you off. And if you're not pissed off, then I think there's something off with you, period.
Adam.
Look, the most important thing here is kids need loving homes. And, you know, we had this conversation before. And if you look at the data, the most important thing that kids can have is a nuclear family with a mother and a father, without a doubt. So I think in theory, it sounds good, meaning, yeah, of course, you know, if we got a baby in a home with a family, with the kids, even if they're gay, let them take care of the kid. And I get that in theory. But when you watch a video like that and a baby's crying out for their mom,
oh, man.
Whatever side of the equation you are, move the politics, move all the nonsense, and just be like, the baby is calling for her mom, for its mom. And that hits. So there's a difference in theory and practice. In practice, that baby needs a mom. In theory, let's make sure that the babies have a great family and a great upbringing and loving parents. And of course, but that hurts. When you see that, and I don't think the guy was mocking the baby.
No, you saw online, he called him homophobic. He put a photo of him and said he's homophobic.
Who did?
The guy, Rob, can you fact check? Make sure, this guy's post, Adam, he was like, because the baby was crying, he was jokingly saying he's homophobic. Adam, you're recording that interaction. You're doing it to get people to like laugh and
that's
mock
true.
this kid because I think that's absolutely disgusting.
I think mocking.
6 weeks homophobic baby. That's him on the right, Rob?
Who wrote that? Who wrote homophobic baby?
Go back, Rob. What does it say? The internet's fuming, laughing at their surrogate. They've also posted videos on their Instagram calling their 6-week-old son homophobic to their audience of 140,000 people.
Hold on, back up. Are you saying that the two dads
they've posted
videos calling their
of their 6-week-old son
baby
that theirs possession?
Homophobic?
Yes, because so you're mocking him and you're laughing at him, and that is disgusting and it's evil, bro.
It's a weird
That's
situation,
disgusting.
man. We've seen. Remember, there was a video of like two dudes in beards.
Yeah, one of
on
them.
an airplane.
One of them was in trouble. One of them got arrested. That guy for some sexual stuff with young kids. Oh yeah,
Tom, where you at with this?
Conversation. Tom. This is not good.
Look, you can debate all the lifestyle and all that stuff, and I'm not going to go there. I'm just going to go to one place. What is the natural response of that human baby? And it's looking for a mom. And there is a natural order, and there is a natural response that is built into us, and it's knitted there by God. And that's what we want and how we respond to it, how we respond to the strength of a father, to the nurturing and the sweetness of a mother, and it's natural. And that is the part that you cannot debate. There is no way to look at that child that knows nothing and just see its natural, normal reaction. And that's it. And I have a problem with these adoptions. I have a big problem with these adoptions. And people can say, "Oh, you're homophobic," and everything like that. No. I don't deny anybody's rights. Their rights to work and all the things to do that. I don't. That's not where I'm at. But I do not believe it is natural that this adoption and these types of adoptions are natural. This is not the way the kids are reacting, and I got a problem with it.
How do you feel? Because I saw your face. How do you process something like that? And this isn't the first. I keep seeing this.
This is not me. I'm not good with this. I'm very uncomfortable with this. I looked at the charts of what happened to us with this. America as a nation wasn't open to this idea. Rob, I'm going to send you this Gallup poll. We've talked about this before. By the way, 50 years ago, it used to be like, in the tens of percentage of support for this. Look at Gallup, just the last 30 years, Rob, if you want to pull this up. Okay, zoom in a little bit if you could. Most Americans say same-sex couples entitled to adopt. Okay, clear majority, 63%. Okay, and Gallup's been tracking this for a while. Go a little bit lower. Do you think same-sex? Look at 1992. 29% said yes. And now it's 63%. Look how it flipped in 03. It's really when the flip happened, 2003. And then gradually kept going up and up and up and up, right? And by the way, if you go in the 70s or 80s, you should see where this poll was at. There's been a real effort to want to do this. Now, the argument that's made sometimes, they'll say things like, what's better? A wealthy gay couple taking care of a kid versus adopting a kid versus, them staying in a foster home. Which system would you be in? Well, this is not adopting a kid. This is surrogacy, which means I'm paying you to do this. So it's a business.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two different stories, right?
You bought a kid.
You bought a kid, yeah. But I'm not comfortable with it. Nothing about this makes me feel comfortable. It never will. It never will. I think we have to protect our kids, and I'm not comfortable with the story. Nothing about it.
And because listen, and God bless you. You chose that life. Do you?
Yeah.
You give up. You don't want to have. You're a gay couple. Gay couples can't have kids. So now you're going to pay for this kid and then ruin that kid's life. That kid's going to be so confused. Mama, where's Mama? Dad, wait. What do you mean? Who are these people at the house? What's going on? What's that noise in
It's
there?
all political.
I don't like it at all, bro.
Political.
That really bothers me.
It's all political because people are uncomfortable to give the opposing argument because God forbid if you do, you're going to be judged and say you're a homophobic, you're this, you're that. I really could care less what you think about. If I have certain values that I follow those values. You don't like those values? Totally get it. To each his own. But these are my values. And my values are built on conservative values, being a Christian kid, atheist for 25 years, and then seeing how rough life was. And, the story comes out here, and I'm going to read the story. More young men say religion is very important to them. New York Times is writing this story, April 16th. What do you mean more young men? Yeah, more young men. Rob, play that clip. Watch this.
Ages 18 to 29 are embracing faith. 42% say religion is very important in their lives. That is a 14% increase from just the previous year. And I saw it firsthand while visiting St. Joe's Church here in New York City.
Time with God is so crucial, especially if you want to build a better life for yourself and really gain that fulfillment you can't seek anywhere else on this earth.
The church was packed for Mass with young people putting their faith in God first. And those are your headlines, guys.
Good. That's amazing.
It is nothing but positive.
Vinny.
That's besides the other story that I want to do, Pat, the hero story. This is the best headline I've seen in a while. That is such an inspiring thing that these young men, I think it's just everybody in general, they're realizing. And I think a big part of it, remember how they always used to say that technology was going to ruin everything and the world was going to end? And I get that part with the internet, but people are being able to dig and find out. And I think the more you dig and the more you do research and the more you talk to people, theologians, and you go back to the Bible and everything adds up. And that book is such an amazing book, Pat, because now you could find out because there's proof of every single thing from the Old Testament that led up to the New Testament and Jesus Christ being here. At the end of the day, put all the noise, all the false prophets, all that aside. Jesus Christ was here and they predicted him coming here. I believe it was Isaiah chapter 53, Tom, where Isaiah, hundreds of years, almost 1,000 years before Christ was even thought of to the people, he said he was going to come here, he was going to die for our transgression, he was going to be pierced, and he was going to die. They predicted Jesus Christ coming. And there's so many other points. So it's undeniable. The eyewitness accounts, people saying he was in the tomb, he was dead. I saw him die. And 3 days later, he came out and there was 500 eyewitnesses. And then with Thomas showing up and the tomb is open and he's like, he's like, I'm not going to believe that it's Jesus came out unless I see the wounds. And Jesus didn't talk to anybody, showed up and saw Thomas and goes, hey, Thomas, put your hands in my wounds. So that goes to prove how big the wound was. Put your hands in my wounds. And he said, listen, you needed this to believe. Blessed are those who haven't seen this and will never see this and still believe. And he's talking to you. He's talking to us. And how beautiful of a moment, Pat. This is amazing because at the end of the day, guys, I don't disrespect everybody's religion, just how we don't disrespect the LGBT, whatever you want to do your gay stuff, do whatever you want to do. When it comes to this, I'm just telling you guys from experience. I'm not trying to play this whole I know everything. When it comes to Christ, he said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and nobody comes to the Father except through me. That's not just a throwaway comment. So I implore people, do your research wherever you're at in spirituality. I'm telling you, the moment you come to Christ, Every single thing in my life has turned to positive. Everything. I still sin all the time, but every morning I get on my hands and knees and I say, thank you. Thank you for this life. Help me, fill me with the Holy Spirit. And I'm such 1,000 times better person because of him. Period, Tom. End of story.
Adam.
Listen, there's a lot to be said here. Here's what you see this graph right here? Here's what I'm seeing from this. Number one, religion is declining overall. Is this just in America, by the way? Or is this, I assume this is America. Religion is declining. Less people are going to church. Less people are going to temple. More mosques are being built. Less people are identifying with their Christian faith. Okay. Young people care the least out of everybody. The boomers, oh, you're a boomer. At least they believe in God. And you know who cares the least out of anybody? Young women. Why are young women abandoning God? Why are young men going closer to God? What's going on there? Could it be feminism? Could it be they care more about work rather than starting a family? I think there's a lot of different metrics here. But I think, here's what I know. As long as you're not too fanatical and too radical, having God and faith in your life is a very, very good thing. I encourage Christians to go to church just like Vinny's been doing. What I've seen firsthand, how this man become, I would tell all people go to church. I went to a baptism yesterday. Greek Orthodox. Remember I text you?
Yep.
I said, what do you do at a baptism? What do I wear? He goes, wear a huge cross.
Yeah.
I did.
I said, buy the kid a cross.
But I think finding God, I'm starting to do tefillin, which is a Jewish prayer in the morning where you give thanks to God. We're praying to the same God. I don't know if you know that.
Yes.
I don't know if you know that.
But you can't get to the only way to the Father, Adam, is through Jesus Christ.
Okay.
We're
getting there.
I'm just saying.
I went to a baptism.
By the way, because you're just saying it's just church. I don't think it's just church. And the hardest part, Adam, when I'm home, when you're home by yourself, and I'm pretty sure, I know for a fact you do it. I know you do it. In Psalms 46:10, God says, be still and know that I'm God. If you could find 5 minutes, Adam, and just go in a room by yourself. And by the way, my brain is going 1,000. Be still. That's the hardest coming from somebody like me. And just know he is Lord. And it's a conversation and it's talking to him. It's a relationship. And I'm telling you right now, bro, once that hits and you hear it and you feel it, it's a wrap. But you cannot get to him without the Son.
Tom.
What's happening here is at times of desolation, the natural inclination of people is to turn to something. And right now, men in the West, and I say basically Europe, the United States, that West, there's more West than that in Western civilization, but a lot of men are turning to that because they feel desperation. They feel desperation in relationships. They feel desperation economically. And the younger generation is turning to God. And I believe the Holy Spirit is moving. And I believe it's a spiritual movement. Being at church is a good thing. Being around other people is a good thing. But you don't, as the missionaries in China will show you, as the missionaries in sub-Saharan Africa will tell you, you don't need a church building to build your faith in Jesus Christ and to build the community of believers around you. As a matter of fact, in times of when you face persecution or difficulty, you usually build stronger faith. The people with the strongest faith have been going through the lot. What's very interesting to me is, and I know this, the century of shift, it was called. There was a name for it. It was something like that, century of shift. But like in 1900, 80% of the Christians in the world were in North America and Europe. Now, 70% of the world, of the Christians in the world are everywhere else. Basically, Africa, Asia, and South America. Isn't that interesting?
Very
interesting. It's like this huge shift. I think, and so what is happening is that young men, you're finding little islands in the stream where people are out there evangelizing, and they're coming together with other groups of men, and they're saying, hey, this is what I found. This is what's here. This is the good news of Jesus. Find it yourself. And people are finding it. And I think it's tremendous. The fastest growing faith in the world is Islam. The third is Christianity. And you know what the second is? It's tragic.
Atheism.
That's right. Unaffiliated.
Yeah,
unaffiliated.
Yeah. Well, especially in the West.
And it makes me sad. Self-reliance and social breakdown is exactly what Revelation promises. And so, Pat, that's the way I feel about it. I feel glimmers of hope when I see this, but it also makes me sad, but also makes me encouraged because my Bible tells me that this is the way of the world, and we're seeing it right now.
Yep. Our kids are going to have to face this reality, and they're going to have to choose to lead and go through the process themselves. But it's great news when you hear stuff like this happening, that they're turning to it. Here's a story that just came out. Bombshell expose. Okay, if you want to go back to it, 20 CIA And FBI agents confirmed that Barack Obama and a former CIA director fabricated the Russia hoax, which was then locked away in a CIA vault for almost a decade to brainwash voters and discredit Trump's election by manipulating intelligence. Go ahead and play the clip, Rob.
Fox News alert, the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, releasing a bombshell report today that shows a conspiracy by a sitting president, Barack Obama, and his intel agencies to sabotage the president-elect, Donald Trump, brainwash the electorate, and undermine the legitimacy of an election.
There is irrefutable evidence that detail how President Obama and his national security team directed the creation of an intelligence community assessment that they knew was false. They knew it would promote this contrived narrative that Russia interfered in the 2016 election to help President Trump win, selling it to the American people as though it were true. It wasn't.
Gabbard got her hands on a House intel report that's been locked away in a CIA vault for almost a decade. Investigators spent over 2,000 hours looking into how the Russia hoax was born, interviewing 20 CIA and FBI officials. And it turns out that the Obama administration doctored the intelligence to make it look like Putin and Trump stole the election. A month after Trump beat Hillary, Barack Obama wasn't satisfied with his intelligence reporting and ordered his CIA director to create a new assessment of how Russia interfered with the election. This was a highly unusual move. John Brennan handpicked 5 CIA analysts to write the assessment, and they were siloed. None of them knew what the other was doing. And only one analyst was in charge of drafting this report. There was nothing routine about this, and it was a rush job to publish before Trump.
Vinny.
How is this not, and I understand the president is busy. I get it. And God bless Tulsi Gabbard for doing her job. But I am at my wit's end, and I know a lot of people, Pat, out there that are listening to this, they understand. How much more do we need to know for a fact? She said the word. The ex-president conspired. That's a huge, huge label to put. Him and the NSA, John Brennan, Comey, FBI, everybody conspired to try to unseat a duly elected president that we, the people, fairly put into office, okay? And then they lock it in a safe. It's unbelievable. And if you just go back, Hillary and the DNC got in trouble for the dossier. You would think, okay, whoever wasn't in charge, Pat, put them in jail. And Hillary, you were behind the dossier, lock her up, like they always used to say. Guess what the fines were, Tom, if you had to guess. Guess what the DNC got a fine? What was their punishment?
$14 for double parking.
$14, yes.
$105,000 the DNC. And guess what Hillary got? $8,000 fine, and that's it, and we move on. I want everybody that went through that 4 years of just nonsense, CNN, MSNBC, every single body pushed, the relationships lost, the fighting, the family. Dude, I lost friends because they were like, you're stupid, Russia, Russia, Russia. We can't put anybody in, like, okay, so now that you know this, what is going to happen, Tom? What is actually going to happen? Because people like me that voted for accountability, that voted for all this stuff, that voted for everything that we thought was going to happen, none of it is coming to pass. We're a year and a couple months in. Do you think anything is going to happen? Because you're going to lose me, Tom. You're going to lose me.
No, I don't think anything's going to happen, but now we've heard the truth. America's heard the truth. That's part one. Part two, is something really going to happen? That's a whole different problem we have. What shocks me here is that it doesn't really shock me. I thought Obama was complicit. I thought he was aware. That's what that was my conclusion as a citizen listening to all this stuff over all the years.
Initially, you're saying.
That was where it was. Now to hear that he actually gets together with a CIA guy, actually gets together and puts 5 guys on the job, that just kind of floors me. I'm like, wow. Because I would have thought normally, like you look at all the big scandals in history. What is the key to a scandal, Pat? Underlings. To somehow push yourself. Well, I was not fully aware of that. I had so many people on my team. These 2 people were in my office in Denver. I didn't know that was happening. You know, people distance themselves. But to hear that Obama was actually aligned like this, if the allegation brought by Tulsi Gabbard is true, this kind of, I'm not shocked, but I'm really surprised because I would have thought that he would have kept himself distanced in such a way, plausible deniability, all those things going on. But I believe that this thing was a crock and it was made up for years and years now. But now to hear this is shocking, Pat.
And Tom, what's to stop them from doing it again, Pat? What is to stop the system? Because I know we talk about the deep state. As much as you think Trump or whoever is going to be in, there are so many people embedded in our government that hate Trump, that'll hate the left or hate the right or whatever, because it could go both ways. Who's to stop them, Pat, if they don't get held accountable? Like, people have to be put in jail, or else what's to stop? Because I'll keep going, Pat, and I'll keep doing it. What do you think?
Oh man, you're gonna get me started on this story. So I'll be super quick because I can go forever on this.
Don't go forever, but just give your super quick.
I said I was gonna go quick.
Go ahead.
I said that.
Go ahead.
You already hit me with a what's your point? I haven't even gone yet. This is a monumental story.
I can interrupt you in just a second.
Tom, I know you can, buddy. This is a monumental story, but it's not gonna go anywhere. So
does that piss you off?
It pisses me off, but I also what I want to do is recommend to the people out there what they should do. Because I fell for this thing. We all know this. I'm kind of...
No, he's good.
TBD's behind me now.
Hat shopping. Let him go.
Okay, gotcha. I fell for this. I fell for the Russia. I was watching Morning Joe. I was watching Rachel Maddow. I was watching all these shows. Fox News, I can't trust them. Of course they're going to defend Trump. You don't know what to think, right? I voted for Obama. If you voted for Obama, it was kind of hard to vote for Trump. So you're thinking, okay, now you're rooting for your team. I'm on Team America now. And what a lot of people have to recognize now is that there's the truth and there's going to be misinformation and disinformation by the media, whether it's Iran now, whether it's Israel now, whether it's China now, whether it's the midterms now. There's going to be so much news and so much stuff that's going to come across your feed and your algorithm, and you out there have to do such a good job and say, no, you're not going to control my brain. I'm going to hear what you're saying and I'm going to filter it out and I'm going to do my own research. And that's hard to do. Most people won't. But can we all agree at this point that Russia was made up? Can we all agree that if you took your 15th COVID jab, that's probably not going to work out well for you? And the media and certain voices push nonsense to help themselves, but it doesn't help you.
Adam,
how long have you?
Think clearer.
How long have you turned the page? All Americans turn the page differently. When did you turn the page from Russia and say, "My gosh, this is baloney"?
What was the moment?
Well,
what was the moment that you were like, wait a minute?
Okay, so I'll answer that. But what I'll tell you is this:
it's not a gotcha.
There's no, it's fine. There's still so many people in my life who think Trump is the devil, who think he's the worst person ever, who hate his personality. They hate everything about him. I'd be willing to say there's the Democrats. They hate Trump more than they love America.
I agree to that.
I love America more than I hate anybody. So for me, the Russia thing, it all comes down to being stoic, using logic, and processing information. So for me, it's been obviously a handful of years since I've even thought about this nonsense.
And then
But the bigger thing is there's still so many people caught up in it. That's what I'm focused on.
Yeah, there's a lot of TDS, but I honestly want to know what you think, because I gave you the honest feeling about what I think. For years, I thought it was a crock, and now this kind of surprises me on Obama. How do you react to Obama when you see this now?
Well,
apparently credibly delivered
what
by
do I think
Tulsi.
is going to happen to Obama?
No, not what's
How
going
do
to
you
happen.
feel?
Does it change any of your convictions or feelings?
I don't know if it was Obama that orchestrated this. I'm sure he was a part of it. But to me, it's the media and the lies and the dissemination that they're going to run with it anyway.
But hold on.
So yes, I'm not on the Obama train whatsoever.
No, the hell with the train. What he's saying is, but she's saying, the director of national intelligence, by the way, this isn't, by the way, she's not going up there because if she says stuff like that, she could get, the government will get sued. She's saying the ex-president that was on the way out literally conspired with a bunch of people to get him out so that Hillary, wrap it around your brain. Adam, these are the same people, the same type of groups that literally said, oh, this virus came out of a lab, that we own, and then they rushed everything and gave it to us, and guess what Biden did? He signed that pardons that said nobody's going to be held accountable. That is unbelievable to me. That's not America, bro. Because if that was the other way around, what would have happened if Trump did that? If Trump started a fake Russia collusion to get Kamala out, if Kamala won, or Hillary. Can you imagine? And they found this information, they're all locked up for the rest of their life. They tried putting Trump in jail for the rest of his life for the fake money, whatever. Mar-a-Lago's worth $50.
The value of Mar-a-Lago.
The value of Mar-a-Lago.
Tax violation.
The lies are
Think about that if it was the other way around. So it pisses me off that nobody gets in trouble, Adam. Zero.
Well,
no jail. Just launch investigation. Write a letter. Look at this new report. She's standing at the podium talking. Put somebody in jail already.
Yeah, this isn't Rachel Maddow or Laura Ingraham from the left and right talking about it. This is director of national
whether it's John
coming
Brennan
out with
or Jim.
This is DNI
Comey.
coming out.
Yeah. So let me answer your question quickly, and I know Pat wants to move on. To me, remember we had the conversation with what's our buddy with the hair, Viva?
Yeah.
He's like, I don't trust anybody. I'm like, you don't trust anybody? He's like, well, maybe my wife. There's people I trust a little. There's people I don't trust at all. There's people that have a high amount of trust, and there's people that I trust the most. But no one has 100%. To me, Tulsi has a high amount of credibility. I trust that what she's saying, but I don't take it as gospel. I'm saying, I hear you. Let's look into this. Just because she said it, I'm not like, well,
no,
she
didn't-
said
Adam,
it.
She has the proof.
I'm going to stop
They
thinking.
They have the documentation that they hid,
Then
and we know it's all fake.
And I trust
Put
her.
somebody in jail.
Well,
Go to put them in.
Vinny, I love you. You don't just throw someone in jail. They have to be.
Of course,
tried.
I get that part. But guess what? If Adam, if I have proof that you stole this, hold on.
I don't know if you do know that.
No, I do
you
know.
say throw people in jail.
Okay, you know what I'm trying to get at?
I get
Adam,
it.
if
You'd
I
like
know
to
that
see
you stole this,
accountability.
hold on. I know that you stole this. Pat, all these guys that work for me, they all have proof, undeniable proof that you stole this phone and you're on camera and you left all the evidence in a safe. Yeah, go to trial. You need to go to jail.
Then you go to trial.
Yeah, go to trial and then go to jail.
You go to trial.
Yeah. This isn't a phone, though. This is, Adam, this is subverting democracy.
Law and order.
No, I'm not a fan of it at all.
Let me tell you, when the day comes when the Dems take over White House, you're going to see a list of people getting arrested.
Yep. Day one.
A list of people getting arrested.
Yeah.
They did it to a president, and that's never happened before. And no matter how much people criticize Trump, if Trump really wanted to make Clintons, Obamas, Hillary's, their life a living hell, he could do it, and he doesn't do it. Isn't that kind of interesting when you think about it?
Of course.
The guy's got the power to make their life a living hell, and nobody would say anything. Nobody would question him. You know why they wouldn't question him? Guy's got a mugshot.
Yeah.
He became a president after having a mugshot.
Gangster.
Okay? And they went into his house at Mar-a-Lago, went through his wife's drawers with her panties there. And you want, this guy doesn't have all the right and moral authority to go retaliate, and he doesn't? I don't know, man.
I'm with you.
There's a, hey, whoever's watching this, whether you voted for this guy or not, whether you like him or not, somebody went through your wife's drawers with their panties in there. Jeez. What do you want to do to that guy? Go ahead. What do you want to do to, how would you retaliate if you had all the power all of a sudden? They humiliate you in front of your wife, your kids, they try to take all your money away from you, your grandkids, everybody. How? And then imagine you all of a sudden are the most powerful man in the world. How would you retaliate? Go ahead. Go ahead to all the noble people out there.
Yeah.
How would you retaliate?
Great point.
Would you not go out there and then people forget because he doesn't bring it up? Well, you know, how come he doesn't want to investigate who tried to kill him? Why doesn't he want to go deeper into that? Why doesn't he want to investigate this? These are all questions that I ask. But you know what's like the weird thing? Is maybe to him, like he knows he can destroy your life, but he doesn't want to do it. Maybe it's that. I don't know. You got to ask the question. Because when these types of stories are coming out and this guy doesn't want to do anything, it's the weirdest person in the world to give a little bit of a sprinkle of nobility to. Most men wouldn't be able to do it. And I know a lot of good Christian men who are very value and strong people that if somebody like that did something to Kim, I don't know what Tom would do.
I have an idea.
But I know Tom's bone on the inside, the vengeance. I know what Tom could do.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a guy that's known as the guy that you were afraid of having access to the button, and he doesn't want to retaliate to these guys. He doesn't want to get. You know, if he really wanted to, he can get Obama to get a mugshot.
Yes, he could.
He could do it
100%.
So, but here's the question.
Why
the
not?
question is, why doesn't he do it? He has all the right to do it. Ask the question, why doesn't he do it? Maybe he loves America. Maybe he doesn't want to see it crumble. Maybe he wants the world to see. Maybe, I don't know. Or maybe he's busy. Or maybe he's afraid. What's he afraid of? They publicly humiliated you.
His whole family.
Your family, your kids. You have all the right, especially for people that say, well, the guy didn't put his hand on the Bible. And what does he say? He says, I don't know if I'm going to go to heaven. Mm-hmm. Right? Guess what? He can retaliate and seek vengeance. And if he's not a man of faith, you don't have anything to worry about. It's not like you're living by principle. Mm-hmm. Go to that argument if you want to go that extreme. I don't know. Because if you became the president and they did this to you and your wife, what's the first thing you're doing when you get into the White House?
The first thing I'm saying is I want all investigation, go and find, by the way, I want proof. Show me the proof that they actually did it. And once I have
he has it. Now what?
Pat, I'm indicting everybody and I'm rushing everything. I'm not doing a wait 6 months down the road. Yeah. I'm putting everybody in court and I'm doing it ASAP. You could rush it through the system.
The reason, this is what, here's the part though. Okay, so let's role play. And I don't know how to run this poll, but I'd love to see what the smartest audience in the world is PBD Podcast. You know why? Because you guys are You'll agree with us, disagree with us, all this stuff, but you're the best audience in the world. I'm telling you guys right now, if you're watching this, go like this to yourself.
Pat yourself on the back.
There's something special about you.
And a certain few do this to yourself.
But this is the question. This is the question. What is the likelihood when Trump is out of office? He's going to give everybody a pardon. He said it.
I know he did.
He has to, because what did they do after first term?
Coming after you.
He's going to do it, right? What's the likelihood they're going to try to dismantle, destroy everybody in that family to never be able to run again? What's the chances?
Very, very high.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
So you think he knows that?
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
If he knows that, why is he seeking vengeance?
But you think
why
why
isn't he seeking vengeance?
I mean, that's the question that I'm trying to figure out.
Why isn't he seeking vengeance?
So they don't come after them hard?
No, I think he already knows they will. Like, he didn't,
There will be no talking them out of it.
Rob, how many pardons did he have the first term? I thought the number was like 250. I don't know I could be fully way off the number. What was the pardons on first term? How many people did Trump pardon? Yeah, exactly. Pardons first term. What's the number? I don't remember it being a big number. 238. There you go. I was about right.
We're close.
Yeah. So 238. How many did Biden pardon?
Was it 1,400?
Way bigger number.
I thought it was 2,200. Like, there's two numbers to it, because apparently the
Pardon
big
his whole family too.
Yeah.
Well,
The entire state of Delaware. There
you go. Look at that. 4,245.
Wow.
Communications, pardons.
Okay. Versus, what was Trump's go up? Trump's was what?
So it's 2% of what he did?
I mean, do you realize?
2%.
But you know what Trump's going to do? If this is the model, I have to pardon everybody.
Yep, I agree.
Heck, Manek, the president, and say, Mr. President, can you pardon me? I'm Vincent Oshana. They may not like my jokes in
They're
10
coming
years.
after me.
President Trump's on my neck.
But wait, but to your question is why,
you can't pay
why,
officials. Officials got off.
To your question, why isn't he?
I don't know. To me, the question is a deeper question to ask why he's not. The only reason I would see it is this back and forth is not good for America. It's just not. It's not. It's okay. Debate the issues, call it out, do all that stuff, but to label him as to put a mugshot and you're a criminal and all this other stuff.
Well, this time around, you're saying why he's not as vindictive?
I don't know. I think this is the greatest idea they ever came up with, the greatest country in the history of mankind, the greatest company. The ideas they created to have a brand spanking new startup, beat a couple empires, China and Iran and Persian Empire, that have been around for thousands of years, for it to become where it is today. You have to protect this. You have to protect it, and there's many people that want to see this thing fall. Many people that want to see this thing fall, and we'll see. He's got a lot of burden on him, but he's doing his thing. Gang, great being with you guys. If you haven't yet ordered a Faith Over Fear, there's not a big supply on this. It takes us 3 months to get these hats in, and if you haven't yet placed the order, buy a handful of them, buy 10 of them, give it away as a gift to people. We got a big announcement that's coming up here soon as well. The biggest announcement we'll be making here very soon, but I'm excited about that. But having said that, if you haven't yet placed the order, go to vtmerch.com, order your Faith Over Fear, one for yourself and a couple others to gift to everyone else. With that being said, have an incredible weekend. We will do this again on Monday. God bless everybody. Bye-bye, bye-bye.